Okay, everyone. So we've talked about note names, both in the treble clef and the bass clef. The second thing we need to know how to read music and to do music correctly, is rhythm. Okay, now rhythm, let's start out with simple vocabulary. We're not even going to talk about how many beats or anything yet. That's later in this video. But let's just talk about names of our notes. So, at the very beginning, there are 4 types of notes that we need to know. The first one is here, where there's several parts of a note that kind of help us understand what sort of note it is. This is called the note head, all right? So the note head is the big round part that is on every single note. So that's a note head. That is a note head. That's a note head. That's a note head. All of these have note heads. The note head is the filled in part or the empty part that are the circle portion of any note. The second thing we need to understand is the stem. Now, this note, you see, doesn't have a stem. These do, and the stem is this part right here coming off of the note. So I'm going to make a little arrow here. I'm going to write stem, S-T-E-M. It's that long portion that comes off of, what is this called? The note head. So the note head is attached to the stem. And then some notes, you notice these don't, have this little squiggle coming off of them. This is called the flag, all right? So you've got your note head right here, your stem, which is the long line attached to the note head, and then attached to the stem on some notes, not all of them, but on some of them, is the flag right there that comes off the stem. See how it's not on the note head, but it is on the stem? That's called the flag. Okay, so say it with me. Note head, and point at the parts. Stem, right there. And flag, right there. Okay, now what the stem and the note head and the flag do is they tell us what kind of note, not a note name, so not what pitch, but what kind of note we're looking at. And this tells us how to count our notes. Okay, so to read music, you've got 2 big parts. 2 parts. The first one is pitch. That's what note name it is. So A, B, C, D, E, F, or G. Okay, the second part is this. Not what note name, but what type of note. So how long? So what is the rhythm? How long do I play my A? Do I play it for 4 counts, for 5 counts, for 2? Okay, so here, this note with no stem, it's an empty note head, so it's a nice circle. Notice there's no filling in, has no stem and no flag. That is called a whole note. W-H-O-L-E, a whole note, okay? This note, look at that, it's got the same note head as the whole note. That's kind of cool. So it's not filled in. See the same note head. The whole note and this note have the same note head. But look at what it has. It has a stem, okay? So a whole note is this note, but with a stem, it is now called a half note. Okay. Now, notice one thing. I've written 2 types of half notes here. One with a stem going up and one with a stem going down. The direction of the stem does not change the note. Okay. The direction just is if a note is really high, it'll have a stem going down. If a note is really low, so like if it's up on the top of your little treble or bass clef staff, it'll have its stem going down like this. If it's down near the bottom of your treble or bass clef staff, its stem will go up. So these 2 notes are exactly the same. The only difference is what direction the stem goes. It doesn't change the note. It doesn't change the pitch. It just helps us write it out, okay? So stem up, stem down, doesn't matter. It has an empty note head and 1 stem on it, no flag. It is called a half note. Okay, next one. Look at this note head. This note head, it looks a lot like a half note, but what's the difference? You got it. The half note is not filled in. This one has a note head that is filled in completely, okay? So it's the same as the half note, except it's got the note head filled in, and it still has one stem with no flag. That is called a quarter. Quarter. A quarter note. I'm going to put some numbers up here too for you. 1/2, 1/4. Okay. Then we've got one more. Look how this one looks a lot like a quarter note. It's got the note head filled in just like the quarter note. It's got a stem just like the quarter and the half. But what's the one big difference? Yep, you got it, guys. It's got a flag on it. Notice the number, 1 flag and only one. So a filled in note head with a stem and 1 flag is called an eighth note. E-I-G-H-T-H. An eighth note. Okay? And that will be like 1/8. Okay? Half note, quarter note, and eighth note. So parents, if you want to make some fun games out of these, you could have some flashcards. You could make a bingo game where you say eighth note and they have to find the eighth note on their bingo card. Or you show a picture of an eighth note and they have to find the word eighth note on their bingo card and they win a prize for that. So guys, this could be a lot of fun. Just make sure you know by the time we start band, a whole note is 1 note head, empty, no stem or flag. A half note is 1 note head, empty, with a stem, but no flag. A quarter note is a filled-in note head with a stem, no flag. And then an eighth note is a filled-in note head with a stem and a flag. All right, guys. See you in the next video.